Okay, Sean. I pulled up a swing from February of last year, and that's on the left. That's when I first met you, and then obviously we saw you last night. And I'm gonna send this to Jonathan. He's at Pebble Beach right now, so he's gonna be a while. If you want to just forward this to him, I'm sure he'd like to see it. And I just want to be clear that this is not me trying to give you a lesson. I noticed your swing had changed a whole lot since I saw you last year. Unfortunately, I don't have a down the line swing, and so I'm gonna just take your swing from yesterday and compare it to show you a couple of things from a buddy of mine who um, who works with some of the tour guys. So anyway, you can look at your setup. It looks like, and we'll look at this more from the down the line, but your posture, you're a little bit more bent over from the hips, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. If we look over there to the left, it looks like you've got about 60-40, and on the right, it looks like you're almost trying to get your weight a little more to the right side. I prescribe more of a centered swing, pivot around the left leg. So I would prescribe the setup on the left. Excuse me. I know you can't see this, but your grip, just from what I can see right here, you guys have done a great job on that grip. I know it seems small. Looking at your right thumb, it's a little more off center. You never see a good player with that right thumb right on top of the shaft. Um, it just it's going to make it easier for you to set the club the way you're gripping it on the right. Looks like your left hand's just a little bit stronger too, which is not a bad thing. So I'm going to stop you at what's called P1, and that's when the shaft is parallel to the ground. Okay. And if you look on the left, your upper body's going toward the target a little bit, and on the right you've got what we call a little more power V. Again, like I said, I like it a little more centered. I don't know what you guys are working on, but there's no doubt on the right your position of your upper body's in better shape. On the left, you kind of reach and lose a little connection. On the right, you just turn. The hands just kind of follow the body, which I like that. All right. So you've turned so much once you got to P2. When you get to P3, there's not much to do right there. All right. So maybe I like to see that left arm and the shaft to be at a 90-degree angle at this point, just like you are on the right. Again, man, doing great work. Um, you have the look of what we call a reverse pivot on the left. Doesn't mean that you're going to reverse pivot. It you have the makings of it. Um, Club face looks really good over here on the right. See the club face really pointing to the camera. Good thing. Beautiful 90-degree angle right there. Um, I mean, dude, you can just look at your spine angle and you can tell the difference. Not even not even the same guy. Okay. So in my world, P4 is the top. Now your club face is really good, but there's probably it's as deep as you've turned. I'll guarantee you've lost some of your spine angle over there on the left, and you still got a ton of shoulder turn, which is fine. But once you get to about 90 degrees, it's really not necessary to reach too much. But and again, like I said, I don't have a. We're not going to be able to compare the two from down the line, but I'm sure that you're losing a little bit of your spine angle. But you've tightened it up over on the right. Whatever you guys have been doing is awesome. It's a really good position right there. All right. So position 5 is the same as position 3. It's just on the way down, and that's when the left arm again is parallel, and you've got something that we can't coach, and that's called lag. And you've got tons of lag. The lower body's leading the hands and arms. You had it then too, but you've got it more under control now. It's great. It's great. All right, P6. That's where the shaft is parallel to the ground. All right. Now it looks like to me you held your angle just a little bit better last year. And notice there's a little gap between your side and your right arm. Not much of a space, not much gap over there on the right, but don't sweat that too much. I'm looking at your right foot. It's still on the ground, so that means that your knees, you want that right knee to kiss your left knee. So that means those knees are working lateral toward the target. When that right heel comes off the ground that early in the swing, that means that your right knee's kind of pointing toward right field. And that could be a sign of what we call early extension. All right, so here's your impact angle. And your straight line is just a little bit before impact. We want to see that straight line right at impact, and that's where the club is moving its fastest. If that straight line of your left arm in the shaft is pre-impact, that means your right wrist is starting to unload the club a little bit. You can hit behind it and top it and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, see, your impact position was probably just a little bit better last year. Doesn't mean you're not hitting the ball better now, but not bad at all either way. Now, I'd like to see you hold that angle. See how your right wrist was unloaded? I'd like to see you hold that just a little bit longer. Okay? See, your hips have stalled. Your arms are racing past your lower body. You actually came up off the ground and that foot kind of pirouetted. Okay? And all that is you're trying to regain the dynamics of the pivot late in the swing. Your pivot should start a little bit earlier. That's that feeling. I want you to have that feeling of using ground pressure and pushing off the ground, but not at the expense of letting that club race past your lower body like that. Yeah, much better. Much better. Much better. Still a little bit early release. And then you're awful athletic, and that's why you have such a good finish. Good balanced finish. I don't know what you and John thought. I'd like to see your upper body stacked right over your hips. Your legs under your hips under your torso. Okay? So now I'm going to take your swing and compare it to a buddy of mine and show you just a couple of things. But great work that you guys have done in a year. You got a lot of potential, man. Ton of potential. You know, get in there in that weight room, and fitness is going to be a big issue for all you guys. Because I promise you, the good players are really focusing on their fitness.